Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 72 review. And this is episode 13 of the 72 review. And this one's being gatecrashed by the non-league. It is an FA Cup special, but we are joined by the regular co-hosts, co-presenters, Punk Chef 41 next to me and Ian Bradley below me. We'll start with Ian Bradley. Let any new viewers know who you are and what you do.
I'm Ian. I'm 60-year-old Miller season ticket holder, but also do part-time away day vlogs for Over the Bar on Over the Bar's YouTube channel. So I'm mainly in League 1 and 2 grounds on the occasions where Rotherham are away.
Lovely stuff. And as I said, to my left, I think it works that way on the screen, maybe, or to my right.
Yeah.
Never. I will work it out one
it's
day.
left.
It's Jake. It's Punk Chef 41. Let the viewers know who you are and what you do, mate.
Hi, I'm Punk Chef 41, aka Jake. I do a Sheffield Wednesday fan channel. I talk about mostly Wednesday. I also do a podcast with Dirty Box, who's another Sheffield Wednesday content creator called Talking Wednesday Podcast, which is out every Tuesday at 5 p.m. You can find it there. And if you find it and you like it, leave us a review on the podcast platforms. It really does help us out. Like the algorithm with the like button.
Definitely. Decent content from both of them. Links will be in the description of this video. But yeah, if you're a regular viewer, you know that we go through Championship, League 1 and League 2. Obviously, FA Cup weekend, so it's a bit of a special. We're going to start in the Championship from the midweek games, and I'll hand over to Ian in a second. But then we'll go through a couple of FA Cup games, obviously Sheff Wednesday against Morecambe, Doncaster against Kings Lynn, and then a few others. We've got Sutton against Farnborough, Grimsby against Plymouth, Chippenham against Lincoln, and Torquay against Derby. We may end up throwing some more in there. It depends how quickly we're flying through it. I know Ian's got a couple of rants to go, so we might end up missing a few of those games out, in all fairness.
So hang on, do I need to just preface this button?
Probably a few times. But I'll try and behave myself.
I will put a disclaimer in. This is live, and we are passionate fans.
Yeah.
And then we will return to the Championship for this weekend's fixtures, where Rotherham face Norwich, and we may end up going through a few more. We will just look at time. As always, get your comments in, and we'll try and go through as many as possible. We've got ATID. Monday was special. It was indeed. Yeah, much more special than yesterday, I'd hasten to add. And then we've got Jake Lincoln. Please don't bother with a cup. It's a rubbish competition. Jake, I'm in the same boat, mate. Absolutely poor. Mickey Mouse Cup, isn't it? Let's focus on the league. So we'll get the Championship banner on.
Said like a fan of a club that just got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, we're not bothered by it. I will get onto that shortly, but I think it's time for Ian to take the floor. Burnley 3, Rotherham 2. From an outsider looking in, very unlucky. Burnley, a superb team in the Championship at the moment, and to go there and be 2-1 up until the 90th minute, it's very upsetting, isn't it?
Upsetting, gutting. I mean, my wife had gone to bed early because she were up for work on Thursday morning, and I'm trying to I'm biting everything to stop myself from screaming. We played extremely well against a fantastic team who battered us and looked for a way through. We defended brilliantly. We took the lead early on. It was a good move and a Ben Wiles header. Great start, something to hang on to. Then about halfway through the first half, Jay Rodriguez equalised. Another sweeping move. Can't argue with that 1-1 half time. Burnley came at us again second half, but like I said before, we defended manfully. We brought Chidozie Ogbeni on, and with his first touch, he broke away and slid it under the keeper 2-1 up. Potentially dreamland.
Yeah.
And then we withstood a battering again. We had Cohen Bramall sent off, which were debatable in itself. Yeah, you were already on a yellow, but Barnes made a meal of the challenge and rolled around about 12 times on the floor. Vincent Company told the referee to send him off, so he did do. And if you saw the slow motion, he hardly touched the guy. But yeah, we're down to 10 men. We're still defending manfully. And then it goes up to the 90th minute. Yes, I understand we did a share of time wasting. But when you're 2-1 up against the top of the league, you're going to do your share. But 10 minutes? Come on. 10 minutes added time. That is ridiculous. Burnley go and equalise, a fantastic goal. And then it was just backs to the wall, corners, throw-ins, free kicks. And eventually the pressure paid. Johansson, our keeper, who'd been brilliant all night, just didn't hang on to a shot from, I think it was Josh Brownhill. And then the guy just prodded it in for the winner. But in the 100th minute, talk about gutting. I mean, any supporter is going to be gutted at that. I mean, yeah, there is a train of thought among Millers fans, and yeah, you probably would think that it's sour grapes, but I don't think we are wanted in the Championship, and I don't think the officials give us the protection other clubs get, and we seem to be on the wrong end of every contentious 50-50. I mean, there were the Richard Wood penalty awarded against us at Coventry, which were as soft as it was. It wasn't a penalty. Yeah, thank you, Jake. That robbed us. That robbed us of 2 points. We drew when we probably should have won, and then the 10 minutes added time robbed us of a point against Burnley, and also coming back to later on when we come to the Rotherham Norwich game, another decision that went against us.
And these are decisions that are going to add up at the end of the season, aren't they?
I don't believe in that much coincidence.
No.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my opinion, and I'll probably in podcasts up until the end of the season, I'll probably be explaining several more because I'm expecting it.
So I'll make sure this button's well ready.
Yeah. Keep your finger hovering over that button. You mentioned the Cohen Bramall red, that it was harsh. I think Donny fan just watching the highlights in this one, I think it's a bit of a rush of blood and it's rash, but I do agree with you. I think he never made a meal of it.
Yeah.
But to dive in like that, it's asking for the ref to make a decision, isn't it?
It was a bit silly to be. I think he thought initially he could get the ball.
It looked like
he started running. Yeah, but then you've got Vincent Kompany on the sidelines waving his hand out like that. And of course, the referee doesn't want to upset such a personality, so it read it were. So let me calm down now. Yeah,
I think that decision did swing the balance. So I mean, from the highlights that I saw, it was a bit of a bombardment by Burnley, but defense.
I think it's just annoying when you've withheld that much pressure for a game where you know you're going to get battered, and you're thinking you're coming away with at 1 point or 3, or maybe a point, and then you get 10 minutes. Like writing's on the wall. Like so, some games you go into, and you're like, they're just wanting it for the other team, and Rotherham, which is really sad at the minute because you look at where they were before one left and where they are now, and they're dropping fast, and they need to figure out a way to win ugly again and quick.
Or could do what ATID said: take Stanfield and Brown off Exeter's hands as soon as possible.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility.
No, definitely not. A quick look at the chat. A couple more have come in. ATID, he doesn't remember playing this weekend. He left at half time. Yeah, it was the game was pretty much out of sight at half time there. Nat, regular contributor to the stream.
Nat.
Evening, lads, and chat. Good evening, Nat. He's also said he's seen the ref was waiting for Burnley to score the winner. Yeah, I mean,
you get games like that, though. You get games
we're rival fans, and we're seeing it. So yeah, it's not nice to see when clearly there is an element of bias towards certain clubs, not just Burnley, just certain clubs in the Premier League, Championship, League One, and League Two, in comparison to others. We wouldn't mind if the officiating was rubbish, but consistently rubbish.
For both sides.
Let's also remember, as fans, we understand how difficult refereeing is. It's not an easy thing, and there's a reason why they're trying to get more people into refereeing. Because when one referee retires, who's either very good or not very good, you're waiting until like 15 of a batch of 20 to come through who might be decent.
Yeah.
It's difficult job, but it seems like Rotherham, like Ian said, is on the currently on the receiving end of the poorer decisions in 50-50 opportunities. So,
and
again, you didn't expect anything from, though.
Don't let the powers that be find out that we don't like referees. They'll all be robots, and we already hate VAR.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, I do think it'll eventually come into the second tier, though. I do think it will. Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Well, second tier, I'm not bothered because Donny a mile away from that.
You get to sit there and go, well, is it a goal or isn't it a goal? I don't know. I'm waiting on this stupid man in a hut to tell me what it is.
So, obviously, bit of negativity on the show today because of Rotherham's recent results and obviously Doncaster's result against Kings Lynn yesterday. So, we'll try and make it a little bit more positive. We'll move on to Sheffield Wednesday versus Morecambe. You two guys went to this game.
Yep.
Jake, we'll go with you. The floor is all yours. We'll get the banner changed over for the FA Cup. All results are now scooching across the bottom of your screen, and there's some decent results from this weekend. It's thrown up some giant killings, it's thrown up some big score lines, and it's obviously thrown up some score lines that were probably expected. I think this is one that was expected. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Morecambe 0. Jake, it's all yours.
So you go into this, and Wednesday fans said before they didn't want a cup run. And I was a little bit the same, but I do like the cup run. It brings in revenue, and I've still got that magic of the FA Cup, the old cliche. I like to see it. It's a competition that really should still get the numbers it used to get in the day. Like, shockingly, there was only 8,000 at Hillsborough, which is insane considering how cheap the tickets were to get in. It should be even more, but it was a really good performance by us. And we went with a decent team with Stockdale, Hunt, Iorfa, McGuinness, James, Bolts, Mighton, Backinson, Winder, Wilt, Smith. So it's not like we've thrown a load of under 21s in there to try and bulk up the squad and get some game time. What can you say about Josh Windass apart from he can make a goal out of nothing? Absolutely superb shot to have the vision to think, I'll just put it up top bins, it'll be fine. It really is a superb goal, but the thing is, you're looking at Morecambe actually play some good football at times. And when we were playing, we were having to be careful of them on the counter because when they got on the counter, they were rapid. And Morecambe are a weird team because last season, Morecambe, Cole Stockton, you're thinking they can do anything. Cole Stockton's in the dark. It looked like he'd gone. At the end of the game, he didn't even applaud. He looked like he's finished. I know a Morecambe fan and they say it's a mess with him at the minute. And up until the second goal, Morecambe were actually giving it a really good chance. We have a chance they had that was cleared off the line by Iorfa, who looks like the Iorfa as old. But Alex Mighton just had a very good game. Best game I've seen him in a Wednesday shirt. He really had a lot of their players on toast. Really fast, really skillful, tried to get in the box. And I don't know about for you, Ian, but when he's on the ball, he's terrifyingly quick. Yeah. And he can beat a man.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, I mean, any defender is scared to death of pace. And Mighton is rapid. He's a little bit like Gio Ogbenny at Rotherham. He's really quick and he can take a player on and go past him as though he's not there. But he's a box of tricks, is Mighton. He can do the step overs, he can do the fancy stuff. But he's also yeah, it does, yeah. But I was impressed by Wednesday. I thought it was a thoroughly professional performance. And I did enjoy it. I mean, he's an ex-Miller. Will Volks. Go on, Claxon.
Yeah, I forgot.
Come on, I'm waiting, Jay. There you go. It was in like a Bannon role, like a holding midfield role. And I thought he was excellent in that role, spraying the balls about and breaking up play. But yeah, as you said, Morecambe really contributed to the game, and they had chances of their own. There were that one in the first half with Connolly, who should have probably done better than shoot straight at the keeper. But yeah, they were well in the game up until the second goal. So I don't think Derek Adams will be too disappointed with that performance.
And I think with this one, it was a weird one because they're both League One teams. It didn't have that kind of feel as an FA Cup. It did feel a little bit like a league game, which was a bit strange sitting there because like this, we're in the same league. Fair enough. But Morecambe, if Morecambe played like that this season against teams in League One, they won't go down, but they need to just start scoring. If they can get a little bit more shoed up at the back, they'll be fine. But we're through to the next round. I think we're number 17 in the hat. I've already said to Dapper before, I'd love to get Wrexham just so it'll be an interesting away day with how they're going. But there's lots of good teams who are in and around it who will make some really good fixtures going forward.
I'll tell you one I'd like for Wednesday anyway. Buxton away.
Yes, that will be good.
That'd be excellent, wouldn't it? Yeah.
You don't want a non-league team. Ask myself or Jake, we'll tell you. Nat agreed with what you mentioned a little earlier, Ian, that it was a professional performance from Sheffield Wednesday, that they just got the job done. He does also say that is in the opinion that decisions will even themselves out over the season. So let's keep a close eye on the decisions that Rotherham are getting or not getting, as the case may be, and hopefully they do even out.
We'll see.
Season. Yeah, and he's
not
also
holding me breath.
Yeah,
he's also said Windass is no Connor Wickham, and that was an unreal goal for Connor Wickham for Forest Green over the weekend as well. So, like Jake says, Wednesday in the hat for the second round. Another team that are in the hat for the second round is Kings Lynn Town, not Doncaster Rovers, unfortunately. And
do you think, Dapper, it's because you're now a city and not a town? Is that why they beat you?
I think it's just because we were shy.
Yeah,
there's no two ways about it. I think it was. Yeah. I've said it before on this stream. I'm a Rovers fan. I don't expect to win every game, but I think as a club and as a set of players, we should be believing that we can win every game. And I honestly think we went into this game believing that the game was already won. The performance was just as poor as I can't even explain how poor it was. There was just a lack of interest, a lack of intensity. The shape that Danny Schofield set us up in was no different to what he set up against Crewe, against Stevenage, or against Gillingham. Personnel, there was a couple of little changes, but nothing too disruptive. So going into the game, I thought, yeah, he's put a strong team out here. He's wanting to progress to the second round, try and get a bit of money in for January so that we can have a couple of additions, which I think we do need. I think we need at least 2 or 3 additions to give us that depth. But yeah, just really poor. We barely laid a glove on a team that's 2 divisions below us. Having said that, though, I don't want this to sound like I'm being salty or sour grapes. Kings Lynn probably deserved to run out 3-0 winners in this one. They were absolutely superb. The pressed us, they gave us no space, they gave us no time, and their manager came out and said in his post-match that Doncaster are a team where he knew that we'd allow them to play football. The thing is, we didn't play football yesterday, and that's why we got beat. And we were, like I say, we were very fortunate not to be on the receiving end of a bigger scoreline. We were unfortunate partway through the second half. We had a positive 5 or 10 minutes, but that's literally the only positive from the full 90. Kyle Hurst hit the crossbar, and it could have been something different if that had gone in. But yeah, 5 shots, 3 on target against a team 2 divisions below us. 14 shots for Kings Lynn with 6 on target. It just shows that they were dominant and fully deserved the progression to the second round. And Gold Omateo, he came on, absolute mountain of a man. He was about 7 foot tall. He was just an absolute unit. And as soon as he came on, you just knew that the long throw was going to him. He was going to try and hold it down or knock it on. And that's where the goal came from. It was a long throw. He's got the nod on, and it's gone past the keeper, and we could be playing now and not scored. So yeah, just very, very poor. ATID, yeah, absolutely wank. We were. No two ways about it. And the frustrating thing is, I believe it's a £41,000 prize fund for progressing from the first round. That is
really
massive for Kings Lynn Town.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's massive for Kings Lynn Town, but it's also massive for a club like Donny as well. £41,000. It's a player's wage.
It's a few season tickets. That it's a few season tickets.
I think there was a want from the board for us to do a little bit of a cup run. We never expected to go deep into the tournament. Teams in League 2 and League 1 aren't. If they do get beyond the fourth or fifth round, it's a really good cup run for them.
So if you want the actual numbers, so fourth round is 41,000, second round is 67, third round is 105,000, fourth round is 120, fifth round is 225, quarterfinals is 450, semi-final winners is $1 million, semi-final losses is 500,000, final runners up is $1 million, and final winners is 2 million.
Big numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's chicken feed to the big clubs. Yeah, I agree, but it's a hell of an incentive for any League 1 or 2 club to get deep into it.
Yeah, and the fact that we've just come out and provided that display, I'm still fuming by it. To be honest, it's just that lack of interest. I don't mind coming away from a game and being beat by the better team if we've put the effort in, but there was no effort there, so I can't say that we were beaten by the better team. Kings Lynn was superb on the day, but had we put a performance in like we put in against Stevenage or Gillingham, it might have been a better scoreline. But dumped out of the cup, dumped out of the Carabao Cup in the first round, dumped out of the Papa John's at the group stage. So cup competitions for Donny this season not very lucrative at all. So now the focus is League 2. The board have said at the start of the season, and since sacking McSheffrey and bringing Schofield in, that the target is promotion. So for me, anything less than an instant return back to League 1 this season is a failure.
That's where they shot themselves in the foot, because you never ever turn around and say the goal is this, because if you do that, you've got a time limit then.
Ultimately, they've got to go for it. They've got to go for it this season, because that's the noises that have been coming out of the club from day one. And anything
they've got to give him money to spend as well in January.
Yeah, I think the minimum I would accept now as a Rovers fan is a defeat in the playoffs, semi-final or final. I'm not sure which one I'd go for, but the playoffs is a lottery. But if we're outside of the playoffs, it is a massive failure from the club from top to bottom, I think. And
also, then where do you go then as well? Because you can't go through having one season where you sack 2 managers in one season, then go, we need to change again, because how do you change it?
Oh, I think Schofield definitely needs time. I think we've seen over his first 3 league games that there's something potentially building there. I think we've just got to put this one in the history books and move on, and hopefully get positive performances and results in the league. But I'm not looking forward to the next league game, because ATID will know all about them from this weekend. We've got Grimsby at Blundell Park. George said it was painful. Yes, it was. Hated every minute of it. And then I've decided against even trying to go to Grimsby. So yeah, it's frustrated a lot of Rovers fans, this result. ATID been to Blundell 20 times, won 1, drawn 3, lost the rest. Was expecting the loss, can't lie. Not the scoreline. More peed off about the injuries than I am about the result. Shuey's first mistake. Yeah, this season he's playing so many starters. Shattered the abundance of confidence taken for an unreal performance against the Greaseballs last Monday. I think that's a good segue to go into that one next. Grimsby, Plymouth. Probably one of the shock results of the FA Cup, isn't it?
It's one of those ones where you're looking at it and you're going, where the hell was this coming from? Because this is not where you think. Top of the League 1, playing out of the skin, on course for 100 points, and then this result comes out of nowhere. Grimsby Town just looked like they were up for it, like properly up for it. And not even that many shots. They were just clinical.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Everything pretty much landed that they had a chance. And Plymouth having 2 shots and 2 shots on target, that is unlike Plymouth. It's like they used all their abundance of confidence and going for it on Monday night to get that win, which was a superb win for them because they had to come back and get that. But it looks like they used it all. But Grimsby winning 5-1, and from the stats, you say they deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean 5-1's no fluke, is it?
No.
And once Grimsby I've been to Blundell Park many times. Once the home team get on top, it's quite a well, it's really an intimidating place for opposition players and fans, really, because they're a pretty vociferous lot down there.
Yeah,
but at least Argyle fans would get some decent fish and chips afterwards.
Yeah. The thing is, I think the annoying thing for them is the likes of Gar now being injured. And I think I read somewhere Grant is now injured. And that is a big blow with their long-term injuries.
Yeah.
It could be the bit where we said where maybe there'll be a bit of a turn. I don't think it will. I think they'll still go massively strong in the league, but it could see some different results on how they play now. Like a result like this, it's not about the actual result. It's how they come back from it mentally. Because even though it's Grimsby Town and it's like League 2, it's the FA Cup, it don't matter one about the league, we'll concentrate on that. It's that interesting thing that if it hits them a bit more, like they make a mistake here and then suddenly it creeps into every game after that. It'll be the first test we see what Plymouth are really made of. And I know that sounds really daft saying when it's the FA Cup, but it'll be interesting to see how it progresses into league form.
Yeah, a bit like Donny. They both need a response in the next league game, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll just catch up with a couple of comments. Nat asked, "Did Plymouth play a strong team?" ATID has said, "Yes, we did. They played a strong team." He's also saying if they don't spend in January, he thinks that they're sinking like a stone. He doesn't know what happened second half, but again, we never win at Blundell. Went 1-0 up in 3 minutes and then got shafted. Got 7 out injured now. Mumba likely to be recalled in January. Season's falling apart. It's gone from a very positive ATID over the last couple of weeks to one worrying that the season may be unraveling very, very quickly. But football's a funny old game, isn't it? We've also got Ainsley. He's popped in with saying that we were embarrassing yesterday. We were. There's no two ways about it. Big January needed. About time this board put the hands in the pockets. It's beginning to show why Grant McCann and Darren Moore walked. I kind of half agree with that. I think the board back to McSheffrey this summer. There was no fees spent, but there's still agent fees. There's still wages to pay. I think we've recruited extremely well. So I think to say that the board aren't putting the hands in the pockets is a little harsh, but I do think they need to show a little bit more ambition to start showing that we are looking at getting promotion back to League One and the Championship, like they've said so many times. But yeah, big January needed. I do agree with that. And then we've also got Gav, who was a Lynn supporter, went to the game, lovely stadium, lovely people, felt very welcome. That's surprising.
That's nice to hear.
No, in fairness, it is renowned for being a good stadium for away fans to visit. And we also gave you the gift of a training match as well, which was nice.
Yeah.
But no, joking aside, I wish you all the best. I hope you get a decent second round tie. Somebody mentioned Ipswich away would be a nice one for you guys. Obviously, if they get through tomorrow night. But yeah, honestly, Gav, Kings Lynn was superb yesterday and deserved progression through to the second round. So all the best. Moving on, we will go to Sutton against Farnborough. Ian, do you want to take this one, mate? It was a couple of late goals.
I only saw the goals. What a result for Farnborough. But I saw Sutton at Stockport last weekend, and they didn't impress me at all. I thought they were really, really poor, and Stockport won at a canter. But I thought an FA Cup clash with are they in the National League South, Farnborough? or are they below
believe so,
that?
yeah.
Yeah. What a result! I mean, and even on shots as well. So it's not a fluke result at all. And a couple of late goals did for them. Great result.
Yeah, it looks to be a very
Put a lot of
competitive
money
game,
in.
doesn't it? Fairly even.
Yeah, it does seem fairly even. But a result like that is vital. It could keep a club like Farnborough afloat for the next 2-3 years.
Exactly.
Because obviously the budgets aren't going to be fantastic down there. And so I hope they get a decent draw in the second round and get some money. That is a great result.
Another money spinner for them. It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It'd be very good. Yeah.
And that's the magic of the FA Cup, isn't it? I mean, we mentioned £41,000. Farnborough have got that now in the bank. And like you say, that's life-saving.
That's like the difference of being able to pay your groundman to make sure there's a pitch okay and decent, then or a player coming in, or literally keeping the lights on.
Yeah,
definitely. We will move on to Chippenham against Lincoln. This was another upset. It destroyed my accumulator along with Donny. So
I think it destroyed Jake as well.
Every single week, there's one or two teams that let me down.
What a great back heel goal that were. It was just instinctive, weren't it? It was a great goal. Just back heeled it into the back of the net. And like you said, a strong League One outfit. That is a fantastic result.
And if you actually look at the stats,
that is really good. And I weren't expecting that because Lincoln.
Yeah, they just battered them. But
yeah.
The thing is that when you, it's the kind of games in the FA Cup that you see where a team will just hold up the pressure and then something magical will happen like the back heel, and that's what seals it. And this is the thing. People always forget, if you're going to play a non-league team, they are so used sometimes to just taking pressure constantly. They are actually probably the worst team to play because they can soak up pressure and then get at you. And for them, it's a shot. Yeah. But for the other team, it's even more of a shot because, like, you're not meant to do that. You're meant to be this little team. But you get, for them getting around to the cup, like, to get to the first round of the FA Cup, they get, let's have a look. They get, so if you're first round qualifier, you get 2,200. And if you're first round qualifying loser, you get 750. So they get a fair bit of money when just for getting there initially. So it's that whole thing. This up again, 41,000 for them. It can be superb. It can be able to do things that they never thought of.
And also, there's the TV rights as well, because obviously they'll get something from the TV rights for actually screening the highlights and everything. And if they're lucky enough in the second round to get a televised tie, that is absolute dreamland for them, isn't it?
Yeah, and then if they get through the second round, they're then on to the really big boys that could go on TV.
Yeah,
because third round championship coming, don't they?
And Prem.
And Prem.
Yeah.
Is it just?
Yeah, I've ordered mine. I want. No, it's all.
Right.
All of them in.
I've ordered mine. I want Spurs away.
That would be good.
Yeah. I'd just like to be in second round once, but yeah. But a quick word on Lincoln. When they did go 1-0 down, they did turn the screw a little bit, but very wasteful in front of goal. Unlucky hit the crossbar. But the dogged defence of Chippenham held firm, and like we say, that pot of money, the prize pot, is massive for teams at this level. HID saying that Lincoln versus Argyle this weekend has taken the El Crapico torch from Donny and crew.
I hope not. I'm going.
I need to find that clip. There's a clip of someone saying Al Crapico, and I'll shove it on the soundboard with how many times he puts it in.
And the final FA Cup game that we're going to touch on, I will mention MK Dons because obviously Jonathan's a big supporter of all of our channels. Could that be the catalyst that just starts them off this season? I know they've not been performing too well in the league, but do you think, I know it's, without trying to sound disrespectful, I know it's only against Taunton Town.
It might give them the kick up the backside. They need to just push on.
Yeah, just that bit of a confidence boost to say that the philosophy that they're trying to play is it can work? Do you think that this might just be that springboard for them to progress and might just kickstart their season?
Yeah,
You kind
Liam
of hope
Manning
so,
looked
yeah.
a lot happier.
Yes.
Liam Manning looked a lot happier in his post-match press conference. Yeah, it was a absolute destruction, and it's probably what they need. They needed a few goals and a good win to instill some confidence going into the league programme. I still think they're in a false position. I think they should be much higher up. And if Will Grigg can keep scoring, because he's a goal scorer, there's no doubt about that. And if he can get a few goals under his belt, I don't think MK have got anything to worry about. I think they'll climb the table.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Mm.
And then the final game that we're going to have a look at in the FA Cup, ATID's mentioned it. It was down there today. Need to talk about Torquay. He was there today. The limbs at the end were special. So,
they were. That's what the cup's all about.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the cup's
she just
all
looked at me
about.
like I was talking French. She just didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I'm there watching on the TV and celebrating a Torquay goal. The dog went mental. I went mental.
And Vicky's looking like, I thought you support Donny, don't you?
Vicky's reading a book and she just, what are you on about?
And to be honest with you, Torquay deserved it.
Yeah,
for the second half showing alone. And I obviously got opinions about refereeing decisions lately, but that tug on the shirt was definitely a penalty. Yeah, that was definitely a penalty and definitely a red card.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about either. No discussion there. And I think that changed the game, didn't it? Really. I think Paul Warne. I think it took.
ATID thinks that Forest Green was a training match, but MK took the biscuit. And what's
he's got to explain himself.
What's he disagreeing with? What are you disagreeing with, ATID? I've missed something.
Are you on about MK Dons being able to push start it, or I don't know. I'm confused.
He'll let us know. He'll let us know.
In the chat, ATID, I've obviously missed something.
I'm a little bit like this at the minute, ATID.
Yes. So about MK climbing the table. There we go. We're on the same page now.
But yeah, getting back to the Torquay Derby game, I thought the sending off changed the game because I think Warne had already taken his goal scorer off, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And I think he was just planning on just running the clock out, but Torquay kept coming at him. And in the end, they thoroughly deserved it.
But I don't think you can run the clock out against lower league teams. They don't have that. They don't have that kind of skill set to we'll let a team just run the clock out. They just go for it. Yeah, I mean,
think that's the thing with the FA Cup. You've got to, haven't you? It's a once in a lifetime opportunity at this level.
So we all remember when we were kids playing football and it was next goal winner. You went for it all full blooded.
Yeah. Currently 7-4, but it's next goal winner.
Exactly.
ATID saying that they slapped them silly, MK Don. So I think potentially saying that
MK
the result against Taunton, maybe we're misjudging it, that it won't be a confidence booster and they should be expected to beat a team at that level by that margin, maybe, but then stick them at League One level and they could still struggle. That's what I'm getting from that.
See.
Yeah.
Gav back in the chat saying, what a game, absolute cracker of the match. This is to do with the Torquay Derby game. Yeah, it was an enthralling FA Cup tie, wasn't it? It had a little bit of everything. Ainsley's touching on the Rovers game. Love to know why we settled from the start so negative against a team 2 leagues below. Kings Lynn were exceptional, no two ways about it, but we look terrified of them. Defence isn't good enough. You look at the likes of Tom Anderson, Joe Wright and Andy Butler, they're a different level to what we've been lumped with now. I think we set up just the way that Danny Schofield, that's his system. I think that's the setup that we're going to have. It was a little bit like Jake will know under Darren Moore. We had it under Darren Moore. Manager has a system, and we play that system regardless of the opposition.
It's also like what, this is his only 4th game in charge.
Yeah.
early days to find out what his system is. It's a half one coming in. I understand the frustration and I get it, but early day for him, it's just like there's not a lot he can do yet until he's had like at least, I say at least 20 training sessions to just bed in what he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
Question from Gav. Oh, not that one. Question from Gav. We'll put this one to Ian. Should the boot to the head maybe should have been a red instead of a yellow? So, thoughts on that one?
No,
Ian?
I think a yellow was sufficient, because I think he were looking at the ball all the time,
Yeah.
and he actually, yes, it was high, but he played the ball, and the guy's head got in the way. There were no serious injuries. I think a yellow suffices.
I think it's also very hard on that head to ball to boot situation, because there've been red cards that have been given in the past where a red card's been given when the player stooped down to header a ball where his head shouldn't be in that position. I think head injuries are always the hard one to think, and I think you just got to be careful, figure out where they're playing the ball, how they're playing the ball, and then go from there.
Yeah, I agree.
See, I'm disagreeing with you two guys on this one. I think it should have been a red. I think if VAR were involved, I think it's potential serious foul play or endangerment of an opposition player. I get what you guys are saying about that he's played the ball. I think it's just his foot's a bit too high for me. I think it's
at least it's not as bad as the German physio getting his own player on the head. Have you seen that?
That was funny. He's run on and slipped, hasn't he? But obviously, I don't want to see teams going down to 10 men all the time. I just think if VAR were involved in that one, I think it had been potentially overturned and upgraded to a red maybe. But who knows with VAR? But no, fantastic result for Torquay. Buzzing for them to get a replay at Pride Park. Again, another money spinner. So they've not got the 41 grand, but they've got half of the ticket sales at Pride Park. So we'll see how that one goes down. Couple of comments have come in. We've got Liam. Welcome to the chat, Liam. I'm not worried about the FA Cup. The league is more important. If we can beat Lincoln on Saturday, it will give us confidence back in the squad, and fingers crossed we can get that win on Saturday. Yeah, I'm not interested in the FA Cup as well. It's just a rubbish competition. We don't want it.
Hey, if any of the Argyle fans are at Lincoln and see me, come and say hello, definitely, because I'm going to be there next Saturday. I'm going to be at the Lincoln Argyle match doing a vlog.
Nice. There you go. So, yeah. ATID or Liam, if you're there and you see Ian, say hello to him. Ainsley said George Miller's crying out for a strike partner. I'd agree with that. Lone striker, don't like it, too isolated. Yeah, keeps on dropping deep and then is having to feed off of scraps. So I'd agree. Agard, it would be nice to see him up there with him. He's looked okay this season when he's come on, but for some reason he's not getting the full 90. Not saying get the poor performances out of the way in the cup. And ATID said he will try and see you when he's there.
All right, no problem.
Lovely stuff. So that is the FA Cup done. Best of luck to Bracknell Town and Ipswich. If you're followers of either one of those, we've obviously got the first round replays that have been penciled in already. Chelmsford, Barnet on Monday the 14th, and then Tuesday the 15th of November, Wimbledon against Weymouth, Gillingham against Fylde, Salford against Peterborough, Hartlepool against Solihull Moors. So I'm assuming that Torquay, Derby and Curzon against Cambridge will be slotted in probably on that Tuesday or Monday TV.
Yeah. Great result for Curzon as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to say anything about that before we do move on?
Fantastic result for Curzon. I like Curzon Ashton. They're a nice, well-run club. And to hold a League One club, a very good League One club in Cambridge, that's worthy of some comment there. Really good result. And again, a money-spinning replay.
Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah.
There we go. So, yeah, second round draw is tomorrow before the Ipswich game. So, even though we're not in it, I will be watching out to see who Kings Lynn have got, because they're the team that I'll support for the remainder of the FA Cup. So we will drop back into the Championship for this weekend's results. let's start with Rotherham against Norwich. So, is another rant coming?
Potentially, yeah. I'm actually very proud of our players, especially that when you consider that Norwich City are a first-year parachute payment club, and their squad is absolutely littered with internationals all over the field, and even on the bench. And we went toe-to-toe with them, and we deserved a point. In my opinion, we deserved a point. We had nearly as many shots as them. Shots on target. Angus Gunn pulled a couple of really good saves off. So did Victor Johansson. Kenny McLean scored early doors. Pookie, a bit of magic. He tried to shoot, but it looped up off of one of our defenders, and McLean just were left to nod the ball in 1-0. We huffed and puffed a little bit up to half time, but at least we went in 1-0 down. We were still in the game. We went for it a little bit more the second half. We took Connor Washington off, who was injured, brought Georgie Kelly on, who lasted 5 minutes. Then he got injured. And then we brought the seaside donkey on, Tom Eaves. If he's a professional footballer, I don't know what I've been watching for 50 odd years. I'm not swearing, Jake.
No, but I thought I'd just put that one in there because I would have done, because I don't like him as a player.
Yeah, true enough. So there were a bad square ball from I think it was the Brazilian. What they call it? Is it Yara or something? And Ollie Rathbone latched onto it, beat a couple of Sarah. That's the one. Yeah, it was square field ball that Ollie Rathbone latched onto. Went to the edge of the area, good feet, and slotted it past Gunn 1-1. Brilliant. We deserved it. We're back on level terms. Norwich scored straight from the kickoff within 30 seconds.
Disappointing.
We didn't close Josh Sargent down. He hit a ball. Johansson saved. There were a little bit of a melee, a goal mouth scramble, and Pookie was clever enough to square it to Ramsey, who just tapped it in. So back to square one, 2-1 down. It didn't deter Rotherham. We came at them again. One or two half chances, I'd say, that just went wide or got saved. And then the 84th minute, Ogbeni, who had come on as sub, who was playing on the right side of midfield like right wing role, took his player on. I think it was Ben Gibson. Brought down, penalty all day long. Referee wasn't interested. Gave a free kick to Norwich City and booked Ogbeni for simulation. Well, you can imagine our reaction. And I had to be careful because I'm on art tablets, but I was absolutely incandescent. Even when I see the replay, he didn't just tackle him, he shoved him as well. But the referee wasn't interested.
Does Ogbene have a history of diving?
No, because
sometimes that goes against the player if they've got a history of diving.
The thing is,
even that time when they do get contact, the referee is just expecting that it's a dive, but it's not.
He'd beaten the player and he was shaping to shoot. And there's no way on earth if he's not impeded, he's shooting.
Yeah,
he's not that sort of player. He's not the theatrical diving type. Anyway. Be that as it may, we still kept going, and we ended up getting beaten by an extremely good team. I was just very proud of them. Very, very proud of them. They put a hell of a good show up against a team that will probably be in the top 6 and stacked full of internationals. Just one of those things. Another refereeing decision goes against us. And we end up with no points where we probably do deserve them. The worrying thing from my point of view is we're absolutely racking the injuries up. We had Grant Hall went off injured. And we had Connor Washington and Georgie Kelly, which leaves us with one striker at the club, which is Tom Eaves. which doesn't exactly fill me with confidence. And we've got Bramall Lane to go to on Tuesday with a patched up squad. He'll be lucky to get 7 men on the bench, to be honest with you, if he doesn't call youth players up. So
Blake
I've already
absolutely relentless at the minute as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it could be a cricket score, but if it is, it is. There's nothing I mean, this World Cup month-long break couldn't come quickly enough for us to get his injuries sorted, get Taylor's ideas into the players and his style of play, because he hadn't had chance with 3 games a week.
No.
So he hadn't had time to spend quality time on the training ground. And I think that's what we need. And like I said to you last week, I said we could well be in the bottom 3 by the time the World Cup break comes along. And that might come to pass.
Can you take a bit of positive belief from these past couple of games, though, Ian? I mean, like you were saying a couple of weeks ago, you were looking at this run of fixtures thinking, wow, we're not going to get a point here. And I think you mentioned a couple of times that it could have been cricket scores in a number of them, but you've only been beaten by 1 goal in each of the games. You've been competitive in both of the games.
Competitive, went toe-to-toe with Burnley and Norwich, didn't look out of place. We're very, very, very close to being a viable championship side.
Yeah. Get on to Bloritic Club here. We've got Nat. He can fetch his boots.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
if you I'm going to say you couldn't do any worse than Tom Eaves, because he's an absolute donkey. But I think we might have to set up at Bramall Lane with probably a 3-1, 5-1. So leave the donkey up there to see what he can do and just crowd midfield. But the Blades are frightening at the moment. They are frightening.
Too right.
Really good.
Before we move on to looking at the championship table, before we finish off, is there any championship games that you guys want to mention? I'll be honest, I've not watched any championship football this weekend. I've been focused on the FA Cup. So in terms of
Luton defending against Blackpool, superb.
Here we go.
They
Luton,
just threw everything at it to make sure they got that win. Blackpool.
I'd have been good. I would have been gutted if I were a Blackpool fan because they had so many chances.
They didn't want to leave without all 3 points, Luton. And Luton are a team who they're just quietly going about their business. You know, you always had that team that just quietly goes about it in the championship, and then you look at the end of the season like, how are you in the playoffs? And you go through the results like, oh, that's how.
Yeah, you're just slowly chopping away at each game.
Yeah, they just played some very, very good defensive work by Luton, and the clip that's going around Twitter, like they just threw everything. Everybody was on the line for that, and it'll be interesting to see what happened with Blackpool and Luton because they're not doing too bad this season.
No, they're not. I quite like the thought of having this as a feature coming forward over the next couple of weeks. Is random fun fact. Let's get this started. So any random fun facts, get them in towards the end of the show, and we'll get them up. Worko is on random fun facts. I used to play cricket when I was 15 with Ben Wiles over at Upper Howe Cricket Club. Top lad indeed. There we go. We like a random fun fact. I think that should be a feature on this show. Ian, before we check the table out, is there any other games that you want to say a few words on, mate?
There is one in particular. PNE winning at Reading, Preston North End. I mean, they're grinding the result out. They're never going to be the most entertaining team in the league, but they've resurrected Ched Evans, who scored 2 pretty good finishes, to be honest.
We also need a klaxon for Lucas Zhao, don't we?
Yep.
Yeah, we do, Because a lot of people have been lauding Reading and how high up the league they are. But how many games have they actually... They just don't draw games, Reading. No. They either win them or get battered. But like I said, Preston, I mean, this is a gold look for a Preston match, 2-1. It is, especially this season.
Yeah.
But they're a strong outfit. But Whiteman controls the midfield. The grind results out. They're good at the back. We got battered, but we got a point there in a 0-0 draw really early in the season. But yeah, they could grind their way to a playoff spot. It's not not beyond the realms of possibility. And they've got a good manager in Lowe. Yeah,
and that's
I'm
a
fairly
result
impressed.
for Preston, because Reading's home record is 19 points, 6-1-3.
Yeah.
Their away record is 2-1-6, which is 7 points.
Yeah. I mean, they've lost 9 games. They've lost more games than they've won.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah. And look at, where's Preston? Come on, my eyes aren't good.
6th.
Yeah.
That's take them into the playoffs.
And their record is 3-4-3, 13 points at home, and then away 5-3-2, 18 points away. So they're bang on that kind of away record, what you want to go for when you're going for playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, we are to doubt, but 16 goals scored in 20 games.
Yeah.
You're not going to be overly excited. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not edge of the seat stuff, is it?
Not really, no.
But the Championship, it is one of those divisions that is going to remain as tight as ever throughout the season.
To doubt.
Desperately need to win their game in hand before they start getting cut adrift. They're currently 5 points away from Wigan and West Brom above them.
What did we say about Coventry? As soon as they got the games out of hand, they'll be up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they have done.
At the start of the season that they were in a false position down towards the bottom of the table for sure. Still got a couple of games in hand, and from 23rd up to 12th mid-table, there's only 6 points that separate it. So literally nobody is safe at the minute, and it's going to be very interesting.
Nobody's cut adrift either. Yeah, nobody's cut adrift either. So anything can happen.
The thing to be watching is Bristol City. Are they going to keep Pearson till the end of the season and let him finish it, or are they going to try and find someone else? Because he's on that kind of verge now. Is it time to cut your losses and start again? Because you look at people who sacked managers recently, they're trying to get that new manager bounce, and it might be interesting.
I mean, we've got Sheffield United and Luton away before the World Cup, which is going to be difficult to get any points out of those two. But our first game after the World Cup break finishes is at home to Bristol City, which will be very interesting.
Yeah. I don't think, like you say, points against Sheffield United or Luton are going to be very, very tough to come by, especially with Sheffield United's form at the minute, and they're 3 points away from top spot. The goal difference is there. They just need to win that game, so they'll be well up for it.
It'll be also interesting.
Their game in hand, or is it full fixture?
I'm not sure.
It'll also be interesting to see what every team's like after the little international break we're going to have.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounded so disrespectful to the World Cup, the little international break.
It's
not disrespectful. I've never been less interested in a World Cup in my life.
Same. Can't be bothered.
I'm going on a League One, League Two tour during the World Cup.
It's looking like the midweek fixture is that game in hand for Sheffield United. So it'll be interesting to see the table this time next week for sure. But yeah, Burnley looking almost unstoppable until they face Sheffield United this weekend. Blackburn doing particularly well this season as well, and playoffs made up of Sheffield United, Norwich, QPR and Preston. QPR dropped off a little bit since the interest in their manager from Wolves. I don't know if maybe his head's been turned and form's not quite as it was. Who knows in football? But yeah, still incredibly tight, and I'm assuming a number of these teams will be knocking on the playoff door in the next couple of weeks. Lovely stuff.
And then we can all relax for a month. And then I can end up enjoying myself at some lower league grounds.
Yeah,
like Hillsborough.
Not all of us now.
Yeah. I'll still contribute, though.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave this one. It's been enjoyable to go away from League One and League Two for a week and focus on a cup competition that no longer matters to us Rovers fans. But for me, the magic of the FA Cup is still definitely there. The scenes for the Kings Lynn Town fans were superb, as were the scenes at Torquay and everywhere else where there's been giant killings. And I think that's what it's all about, isn't it? Dreaming about that big tie and going against the footballing gods and showing what us minnows as clubs can do. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave this one. If you've enjoyed it and you're watching throughout the week, please leave a like on it. Don't forget to check out Jake's channel and Over the Bar, and all of their socials will be linked in the description down below. Follow them, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Comments in the section down below. Thanks for getting involved in the chat while we've been live, but comments I will try to get back to throughout the week. And all that's left for me to say is thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
See ya.
See ya.